Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Creation Myths. I am recording this video because I am not thrilled about some things, and we are going to talk about it. We're talking about the Epstein files in this one, but we're not just talking about the Epstein files. So let me give you the context, and then we'll work our way around, and we're going to get to a point here, okay? So the latest Epstein file drop as of the first week of February 2026 is a great jumping off point for what we're talking about here. In the, as of this recording, most recent drop, we got just a peek behind the curtain into how some of the biggest names in academia, and of interest to what we do here on this channel, however tangentially, some of the biggest names in the capital A, capital M, atheist movement were quite closely associated with Jeffrey Epstein, the most famous pedophile in the world. Now, I am emphatically not an expert on the ins and outs of the Epstein files and the releases and how they relate to academia and the atheist movement. You know who you should follow for more details on that? Rebecca Watson, also known as Skepchick. She's put out a few videos on this. Her channel is linked down below. You should 100% watch those for way more details from someone who knows all of these people and was involved in like the atheist movement and the conventions and all that stuff. The thing I want to talk about here is this. Everyone, all of us, needs to get our shit together. Everyone needs to get their own houses in order, whatever that house is, because these assholes are everywhere. Again, you can get the details from Rebecca Watson, but Richard Dawkins, Michael Shermer, Lawrence Krauss, they are all over these documents. So in terms of the atheist movement, that movement, as far as I'm concerned, can fuck right off. It doesn't matter if they started with these lofty ideals of rationality and, a secular humanist society. It doesn't matter at this point anymore. Clearly, it was just an excuse to indulge in some homophobia, and the big names were apparently fine to ignore, condone, and or participate in sexual abuse at their conferences and among the Epstein crowd. But the rot goes deeper than the big names and the headlines. There needs to be a reckoning across academia with the sexist and abusive behavior perpetrated by the big names and the not so big names that's ignored, excused, and tolerated. Now, I will tell you, in my time as a graduate student and faculty member at Rutgers University, and I'm not doxing myself here, anybody can Google my name and find me. In my time at Rutgers, 3 senior male faculty have been brought down by allegations of, let's say, inappropriate conduct. Now, one of these cases, I will not name the person for legal reasons, because I was told about it confidentiality, and to my knowledge, it has not been made public. But that faculty member is no longer employed by the university, let's say. The other 2, fuck them. I'm going to tell you about them, and then there's a broader point here after I tell you about these cases. So the first of the 2 I'm going to tell you about is a guy named Carl Chair. He's an entomologist. He was a faculty member when I was in grad school. I had seminars with him in grad school, like the evolution seminar he would participate in. Yet he got caught filming a 19-year-old in his shower with a hidden camera. Now, consequences? At first, not much. He got a new job across the country. Fortunately, there were eventually legal consequences in the form of probation. Now, that's more than most, but, come on. That's a slap on the wrist. And it was only after he was able to move to another school. How do you get caught doing something like that and get hired by another school afterwards? You can if the school where you worked at the time just wants the problem to go away instead of handling it correctly. And then the second person I want to tell you about, the third of the cases that have occurred in my time at Rutgers, my friends, let me tell you, the third name on this list is Rob Trivers, famed sociobiologist and one of the grandfathers of the field of evolutionary psychology, and one of Rutgers' most famous faculty members going back to the 1990s. If you follow behavioral ecology, sociobiology, and/or, God help you, evolutionary psychology, you may already know that Trivers was just all over the most recent tranche of Epstein emails. What you may not know is that Trivers was suspended from Rutgers University in, I believe, 2015. The public reason was a dispute over teaching a class he said he wasn't qualified to teach. Now, he was subsequently, as far as I know, not just suspended from his teaching duties and faculty responsibilities or whatever, he was also subsequently banned from campus. And what I'm about to say, I'm going to say is speculation, because I'm not sure how much of it is public. So I will say that what follows are allegations that, to my knowledge, have not been proven in a court of law. But the Whisper Network sure has a lot to say about Trivers. The short version is that Trivers was known for decades as a sex pest, specifically towards undergraduate students. I personally witnessed one faculty member warning a female undergraduate to not be alone with Trivers in his office. That was years before he was suspended. Everyone knew about his conduct. Everyone knew about it. When I read that he was apparently a friend of Epstein, contact and going back and forth on all these emails, I was the opposite of shocked. That fits with everything I've heard about him from his tenure at Rutgers. Am I saying he did anything illegal? No. Am I saying that the things I heard secondhand are anything more than allegations? No. What I am saying is that all of these things, the stuff that I heard and the Epstein emails, are consistent with each other. And now we can get to the point I want to make here. And the point is this: there needs to be a reckoning in academia. The way abusive and in some cases criminal behavior by faculty, particularly senior male faculty, is ignored, excused, and hidden by resignations under secret circumstances, and now we're going to move to another university, but we're not really going to talk about why you want to move. We just, it's time for me to move across the country, just coincidentally. This is all analogous to how abuse was hidden in the Catholic Church. The way faculty facing complaints are able to pack up and move to another school rather than face consequences is exactly the same as how abusive Catholic priests were shuffled from parish to parish and diocese to diocese. I've known of 3 of these cases in my time at Rutgers. 3. And that's as one low-ranking person in one department at one school. How many more are there that I haven't heard about? How many across all of academia? How many of the big, famous, respected names are actually genuinely horrible human beings? My guess now is a lot. Bringing these 2 threads together, the abuse and its cover-up in academia and the rot in the atheist movement, let me show you some pictures that are worth 1,000 words. First, we have Steven Pinker, Daniel Dennett, Richard Dawkins, and others on Epstein's plane. Next, we have Epstein with Lawrence Krauss and Steven Pinker. And finally, here's Epstein with Alan Dershowitz, Steven Pinker, Rob Trivers, who couldn't even be bothered to tuck in his shirt, and former Harvard University president Larry Summers, which, by the way, if you want to laugh, you should Google Larry Summers Epstein. It's genuinely pathetic. It is crystal clear to me, and should be to anyone paying attention, that the rot in academia and in the atheist movement runs deep. It is incumbent upon all of us to call it out and ostracize the assholes. I mean, the sad truth is that in the case of the atheist movement, the bad guys basically won. They won. The good people, the people who were calling it out, the people who saw the behavior, who were saying this is wrong, and in many cases were subjected to that repugnant behavior, were ostracized. They were blacklisted from the conferences, from the organizations, whatever. And I'm sure that happens in academia too. It just doesn't make headlines. It's just not a public thing in the same way that it periodically flared up within the atheist, and in particular in the new atheist community over the last few decades. I have to believe that the decent people here outnumber the assholes. I refuse to believe otherwise. But even if we didn't, even if we were a doomed minority, which I don't think we are, we should still be calling out this behavior in these people. It's really bad. There are way too many people who I once looked up to who have turned out to be absolute villains. But we can all collectively show them the door if we want. But that's only going to happen if everyone is on board. So get on board. That's the message I want to convey here. There needs to be a reckoning in academia, in the atheist movement, in the secular humanist community movement, whatever you want to call it. There needs to be a reckoning across the board. Once and for all, this is not okay. And it should have happened 20 years ago. It should have happened 50 years ago. It hasn't happened yet. It needs to happen. And that's the message I want to get across in this video. And Epstein didn't kill himself. Thanks for watching. Please remember before you leave to hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and consider becoming a channel member. You get immediate access to pre-recorded videos like this. As always, don't get fooled.